In the quiet town of Abilene, Texas, a story lingers, one that has sent shivers down spines for years. It's the tale of the black-eyed children, an encounter so unsettling that it has become legendary. One cold November evening in 1996, Brian Bethel, a local journalist, stopped in his car outside an old movie theater on North 1st Street. The theater, with its vintage charm, was nearly deserted. Brian was there to write a check for his internet service provider, intending to drop it off nearby. The night was quiet and he was lost in thought, the soft glow of his car's dashboard lighting his face. Then came the knock. Two boys stood outside his car window, their faces partially obscured by the shadows. They seemed about 10 or 11 years old, dressed in oversized hooded sweatshirts. Despite their youth, something about them felt deeply unsettling. Their stillness, their unblinking eyes, it all felt wrong. Brian rolled down his window slightly, just enough to hear them. The taller boy spoke first, his voice oddly flat, devoid of emotion. "Excuse me, sir," the boy said. "We're on our way to see the movie, but we forgot our money. Could you give us a ride home?" The request was simple, yet it sent a wave of unease through Brian. Something in the boy's tone made him feel as if danger lurked just beneath the surface. He felt a primal urge to refuse, but curiosity got the better of him. "What movie are you going to see?" Brian asked, trying to steady his voice. "Mortal Kombat," the boy replied without hesitation. But the response only deepened Brian's fear. The movie had been out for weeks, and the idea of two young boys wandering around late at night to see it seemed strange. As Brian tried to make sense of the situation, he noticed something that froze him with terror. The boy's eyes. They were completely black, void of color, void of soul. Endless pools of darkness stared back at him, and he felt as if they were drawing him in, trying to pull him into an abyss from which there was no return. Fear surged through him. He knew these were no ordinary children. Every instinct told him to drive away, but the boy kept speaking, his voice now more insistent. "We can't get in unless you help us," the boy said, his tone almost pleading now. "Please, sir, we're just kids. We're not going to hurt you." But Brian knew better. He felt a deep, unshakable certainty that if he let them into his car, something terrible would happen. The air seemed to thicken, and a sense of impending doom hung over him like a storm cloud. "I'm sorry," Brian stammered, his voice barely above a whisper. "I can't help you." The boy's expression darkened, his face twisting into a mask of anger. The calm, innocent facade shattered, revealing something far more sinister beneath. "We can't come in unless you invite us," the boy hissed, his voice now laced with fury. "You have to let us in." But Brian didn't wait to hear more. In a rush of panic, he rolled up the window and threw the car into reverse, tires screeching as he sped out of the parking lot. His heart pounded as he drove away, but curiosity got the best of him, and he glanced in the rearview mirror. The boys were gone. Not a trace of them remained, as if they had never been there at all. Shaken, Brian didn't stop driving until he was far from the theater, his mind racing. He knew what he had seen wasn't a hallucination. It was real, and the encounter left a deep, indelible mark on him. Over time, Brian shared his story with others, only to discover he wasn't alone. Tales of encounters with black-eyed children surfaced in various places, each one eerier than the last. Some believed they were spirits, others thought they were demons or even aliens in disguise, but no one knew for sure. What everyone agreed on was this: if you ever encountered the black-eyed children, never, under any circumstances, let them in. Once you did, it was too late. Brian Bethel's encounter remains one of the most well-known stories involving the black-eyed children, a legend that continues to haunt those who hear it. In Abilene, the story is whispered among locals, a reminder that some things are better left unexplained. So if you ever find yourself alone at night and hear a knock at the door, be careful who you let in. You never know who or what might be waiting on the other side.